And we live. Yes. We back.
We back.
Get my notes together over here.
Yeah, that tuba is tuba in the back.
It's tuba and
That tuba was tuba in the back.
It was. All right, let me. My turn, my truth. Let me clench my third before we start. And y'all, we back for the newest installment of My Turn, My Truth, because when it's your turn, you do what?
Tell your truth.
Indeed. All right, let's fade the music.
Fade it on out then.
There you go. All right, so we back with My Turn, My Truth. Right here you have the Rice Man. And who do we have over there?
I'm Mackenzie.
Mata.
And Marielle.
All right, so I guess y'all do notice that we do have a new guest on the panel tonight, Miss Marielle Harrison, soon to be Marielle
Rice.
That's right. And we're missing one vital and very important person today, Mo-K. My daughter Morgan, and you spell it with, what do you call it? Kennedi. We miss you, baby girl.
She making that money.
Yeah.
Nedii.
Yes,
you know her brother know, child. He know.
Yes, she out making that bread. I can't be mad at her tonight.
Waiting for that pulled pork sandwich. Come on home.
Yeah, bring that food back. We need that.
Real good.
We need that. So our topic for tonight is mental health.
Ooh.
Okay, so it's one of them topics that we all talk about, and what's up?
I'm laughing because he said, "Ooh."
I have my
Okay.
own sound effect right there.
You didn't hit nothing, so he did it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we multitasking right now.
Yeah, we're doing a little bit of multitasking.
So please excuse us.
Yeah, the three of you that's on, we love you.
All right, so I'm gonna start off with a quick definition.
Mm-hmm.
You
of
might
mental-
want to just start the whole thing over because you looked at your phone for about a minute.
I say you should start with definition.
I just can't go.
All right, we're talking about mental health, and that's very important. I know all of us have been touched by it, know someone, are experiencing themselves, some people that are having challenges with their mental health, and we know some people that have good mental health wellness on both sides. But let me just give you a quick definition of mental health. All right, mental health includes our emotional, physiological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, how we feel, and how we act.
Right.
It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make healthy choices. Okay. So that's mental health. So there's good and there's bad mental health, but just like physical health, you can be in great physical health, and some people can be in poor physical health. Same way you can be mentally. You can have great mental health, and you can have some challenges with your mental health.
Right.
The challenges that's mental illness, and there's some things about that. So anybody want to chime in already from the jump? Nobody?
I mean,
All right. So we just determined what is mental health. So what is mental illness? Anybody got any examples of that, or want to jump in on what mental illness is?
Yeah, a chemical or physical change in the brain that is cause and effect, such as chemical imbalances and different things like that.
Right. And some examples of mental illness could be, like anxiety, depression,
ADHD.
Yeah, things like that. Things that can affect you in a negative way.
Right.
And I would like to tag on like mental illness in addition to what Marielle has stated. It is, to me, I feel like mental illness is a diagnosis. where you actually have gone and sought physical treatment and you've been diagnosed. And that doesn't mean that you can't have those things if you have not been diagnosed.
Like
But
some stuff you can, self-diagnose. Like you can
Right.
just see the symptoms. Like, well, 2+2 is 4. I
Right.
probably have this. So,
right.
Right. But we also know that sometimes we can't diagnose ourselves,
Right.
and
For sure.
that's big.
But
too.
it started with the self-diagnosis, because when you go to the doctor, like Mackenzie was saying, of course we can't diagnose ourselves. You have to get that diagnosis from a physician or therapist or whomever. But when you go to the doctor, you're going to give them your symptoms, so you are kind of pre-diagnosing yourself of this
Right.
is what I feel like is going
Right.
on with me.
right.
So in a sense, what Mackenzie is saying is accurate.
So you do, but you still do need that. Like self-diagnosis still needs to be combated with the real
Correct.
diagnosis.
Correct.
Right.
So let's hop on into it.
Well, I've been talking to people on this topic before we actually got here, and I think that there's some symptoms that kind of lead toward people self-diagnosing themselves with some mental health issues, and I think some of those are just kind of being pessimistic, about some things. Some people are just optimistic about everything, and some people, are just, I don't think it's gonna be. They're just pessimistic, kind of, and that's something that you need to be aware of.
Right. That it's a telltale sign.
Right.
That you might want to go and try to figure out why are you operating that way.
Right. Like some people see the glass half full, and some people see the glass half empty all the time. Some people have a great outlook on life, and you can say, good morning. They'll say, good morning to you too. And some people, you can say, good morning. They can say, what's so good about it? So there's levels to it, and there's some things that you can, when you look at yourself and do a mirror evaluation of yourself, like, am I a happy person? Am I doing good? Do I have a good outlook on life? Am I, am I a positive person? How do people view me? Do they see me as gloomy, or do they see me as this lightning rod for happiness?
Yeah.
Right.
But then, and not only how do people look at you and view you, how do you view yourself?
That's correct.
Because the thing is, you have to notice the signs within yourself, because that will either determine if you are able to self-change the direction, or if you need to speak to someone. Like you said, if I'm a person that constantly look at the cup half empty, and I see nothing good in life, then I'm at the point where I probably need to speak to someone, because I'm mentally not okay. Not to say that I'm like at an extreme end of anything, but at this moment and where I am in my life, something is not balanced. I'm not okay, because I see everything negatively.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha. So, and I was looking at a chart here just to kind of set the basis on a lot of things we're talking about. Some examples of good mental health is resistance to stress. Some people just don't stress like other people. They just don't do it. People who are empathetic, they're really empathetic about other people. They are flexible. They have good spirituality, optimism. They have stable relationships. These are examples of people with good mental health.
Right.
Stable relationships. They have productive behavior. They have respect for self and others. They have self-confidence, because that's a big one right there. Self-esteem and self-confidence. They have a good sense of belonging. They're not lonely. They feel involved and feel like they belong. They have the ability to take care of their self and others. They have clear thinking. That's good. That's another good one. And they have a sense of well-being and contentment. They're content.
Okay.
With who they are, where they are, why they are. They're there. And on the other side, some examples of mental illnesses, which is defined as mental illness is defined as a health condition that affects a person's thinking, feeling, behavior, or mood. Such as conditions may affect somebody's ability to relate to others and function every day. So some indicators of mental illness would be pulling away from people and usual activities, kind of being a little more standoffish, kind of pulling away from people, feeling numb or like nothing matters.
So to me, I feel like whether it's good mental health or wellness, or it's mental illness or bad mental health, it's all coming or derive around how you feel, your emotions.
And let me just, right before we jump in, let me give you a few more of the examples of mental illness. Okay. So we had pulling away from people and usual activities, feeling numb, like nothing matters, feeling helpless or hopeless.
Yeah, I saw that.
Experiencing severe mood swings, like you be up one moment and down one moment, thinking of harming yourself or others. And not just yourself, but other people as well. And the inability to perform daily tasks, just not being able to get things done. Those are some of the examples.
Because your moods control you.
Right. So that was just setting the stage on both sides of this, and kind of anxious to know if anyone is out there that have anything they want to add to that. So in saying that, how can how do you get it better? Like, what are some examples? Yeah. What are some ways you can? Let's talk about good mental health first, if we can.
Right.
Okay.
And I wrote down a couple of things that I think that could help. Just very small things. And of course, these aren't treatments by any means, but some things that help me, and I can give you some of those. Washing my car. Have you ever been in your car once you wash your car and just make you feel better? You feel like your whole outlook is better. Like I wash my car if I'm not feeling like myself, clean the house, get a new outfit, a new hairstyle, listening to positive music.
Yeah.
Now there's music that can evoke your mood swings one way or the other.
Of course, absolutely.
Definitely a gateway.
And you can either, manifest some bad feelings, listen to some music that's a little
that keep you where you are
on the other side, right? Or you can listen to something that can pick you up. Same thing with movies. You look at a lot of tear jerkers, people dying and people, things like that. That could not be good for you. Exercise is always going to be good for you.
Oh yeah.
Surround yourself with healthy people who are optimistic and have a good outlook on things. Don't be afraid to put your needs first. There's some people who take care of a lot of people and give so much of yourself. And
your cup is empty.
And your cup is empty. Like who is pouring into you?
Right.
And sometimes you have to pour into yourself because sometimes nobody else will.
Right.
Get rest, of course. Take up a new hobby. Get a pet. Some people get a lovable pet.
Oh yeah. A lot of people do that. A lot of people do that.
Sometimes when other people don't show you any love, sometimes your pet will show you all the love. You're like, you get that from a pet. Meditation and hanging with friends. They're just some small things. These are not treatments. These are just some small things you can do to kind of pick you up on a daily basis.
Yep. And then Ursula, she agreed with you as far as surrounding yourself with friends, but her point was a positive circle,
right?
Which I love that, because you can surround yourself with friends, but they are not uplifting you, or they are agreeing with you and keeping you in that same place. So you definitely need to surround yourself with positive people that can pull you up out of where you are.
Right.
Absolutely. And just to jump in on that, I hate to just dive in on that real hard, but let me say this, Ursula, I agree with you. Everybody has a couple of friends that will pull on you and just drain you mentally. And they always have issues. They always have problems every day, and they can really weigh on you personally.
Right.
And
go ahead. Sir.
And I would say, to the point where my dad was saying, like, the healthy motives, like, I would say for me, knowing who those people are is very important too. Like knowing who the drainers are and knowing who the uplifters are is very important.
Absolutely.
You need to know, if you go around this person, you might not feel your best. You might end up, feeling down. If you go around these people, you're going to be lit. I'm not saying you don't need to go around them people, because some people have, just like we talking about our, feelings and mental health, they might not be going through it that day either.
Right.
You just need to know what's going on before you know.
And then and I know for us ladies, retail therapy probably is good for some. For she said, "Oh my goodness, yes." Retail therapy may be a good way to
What is that?
Going shopping, honey.
Yeah,
you going shopping. But go sensibly shopping.
Watching sports.
Don't so you won't have to be depressed about the bank account after you shop.
One of my
men listen out there. They don't call it shopping anymore. It's retail therapy. Buzzwords, because we might know what is that. We just shake it off, but no, she going to spend some money.
I would say laughing is good therapy.
Oh yeah, laughing,
like hard laughing, like you can't breathe.
Yeah, But I said laughter is good for the soul.
It's the best medicine. I love
that. That's right.
I love laughing.
Yeah, but what I don't know where you were. You were saying we were just doing some points on what we do to uplift.
Or know it's
or just have a better like stay on that good side of like keeping you up.
Yeah. So and then another thing is too for me to like if you're surrounding yourself around a positive crowd or inner circle, hopefully those are some people that you can talk to.
Right.
If you can't talk, if you don't have a therapist or you don't think you need one, but you can open up and kind of have an outlet and you can let some of the things that you're holding in out.
Right.
A lot of times, a lot of people hold a lot of stuff in. And I think when you hold a lot of stuff in, that weighs you down as well because you don't have an outlet.
Right. Because I would honestly say therapy, you don't got to always, quote unquote, pay for therapy. Right. My parents are my therapist. My fiance is my therapist. I have my inner circle, my couple friends, my 4 friends, 5 friends, they're my therapist. I can talk to them when I'm down and they are going to lift me up every single time.
Because you want somebody that's not gonna just disregard how you feel.
Right.
You want them are gonna make you feel like your feelings are not valid. Because at that point, that is your reality. Right. Your feelings are your feelings. So when you talk to people, and I was when I was doing my research and reading up on it, it was like some of the things that you don't say to a person that has expressed that they feel a certain type of way. Is you don't tell them like to calm down or you will be okay or pray about it, because those are a lot of dismissive actions, and you actually are making the person feel worth or invalid or like what they're going through is not real. Right,
because
they shouldn't be going through it, and that sometimes can spin a person deeper into where they are.
Right, because you don't want the person. Oh, it's just that easy.
Right.
Don't think about it.
And then, at the same point, like, what are you doing to help them? You basically telling them to get another outlet. Like, you're not helping them at all.
Right.
I go pray about it. Like, no, I came to you.
Right.
I ain't pray. I ain't come to Jesus first. I came to you.
And how do you not know that God didn't send that person to you so that you can minister to them, so that you can speak a word to them? And when I say speak a word, I'm not saying necessarily beat them over the head with the Bible, but just speak an encouraging word to them and to their situation. Or it may be a thing that you have been through in the past and you've overcome it. And now it's your time to share that. We have to learn how to stop being we have to learn how to start being vulnerable ourselves, because a lot of times people don't want you to know what they've gone through, so they hold certain things in. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to share those things, and I feel like people can connect to you or connect to you for a specific reason, and you just have to start washing out what those reasons are.
You do have to divulge some things about yourself to help some people, and like spiritually. Like the Bible said, we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. Sometimes our own testimonies about what we've been through can have somebody say, thank you, somebody understands.
Yeah, because they just want somebody to see them.
All they
want to be seen. That's all. They want somebody to see them.
That's right. And go ahead.
I think that there's a medium, like you have to find that balance when you're listening to somebody, like that silence, like you just actively listening and just paying attention and like really like allowing them to feel okay in that state, like makes them not feel crazy. And then, after like share your testimony and then express like how you got out of that state.
Absolutely.
And so that also balances out like the encouragement side, but also not dismissing their feelings.
Right.
That's right. And you have to admit that it's there for them.
Right.
Like, man, I know it's tough. I know you're going through
That's
it.
a big one.
I can't even begin to understand what you're
Right.
going through.
Yeah.
I know it's an issue.
Yeah, make it a issue.
And not being dismissive about it.
Yeah.
Right.
But let's say for the other side of this, everybody's not equipped to help people.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I mean,
you better
so-
say that now. You need to hit the little
Yeah,
thing
so-
for that. Let's just hit it for yourself.
Don't feel bad that you can't help someone.
Yes.
Right.
Sometimes you're just not equipped. They
Yeah.
need to take it up a level in professionalism to get a professional to help them.
Agreed.
Yeah, and you
You know.
probably the person again that the Lord sent you that way, so you can send them on.
Yeah, right. So what we can't do is ignore the problem.
Right.
Have someone talking to you and tell you, look, I just don't feel myself. I don't feel good. I don't think anybody loves me. I just think that I'm lonely.
Yeah.
And you're thinking to yourself, we're around you all the time. How are you lonely? But you can't think that if a person tell you that they're feeling lonely,
And they're feeling lonely.
then they're feeling lonely.
Yeah.
because a lot of times people mask how they really feel.
Yeah.
They just go on in a day-to-day routine until they just can't anymore. And I'm gonna try not to get sensitive on the subject because we know firsthand what mental illness can do, because if it goes untreated and people feel unseen for so long, it can lead up to that final resolution in their mind, which is suicide or death.
And that's right.
And we have someone in our family, my first cousin, committed suicide, and he was a young man. He was only like 30, 31 years old. And then when I go back and I look through the Facebook posts, all of the signs, were there, and in simple ways, he was crying out for help, and we just didn't see him in time.
Right.
So it's a real big issue, y'all.
Right.
It's a real issue.
And I know, like, it is uncomfortable to talk about it, but like our counselor says at my job, like, you can only assume that smile is real. I don't know what that smile means, because there's been times where, like, oh, Mackenzie's skin, he's so funny, but deep down, like, I'm doing this to kind of hide how I'm really feeling, because y'all won't understand even if I told y'all.
Yeah,
Right.
I was gonna say
You
a
know.
lot of times, like, it's the people that you least expect. It's the people
It's
that
always-
seem always happy,
It's
or
always the people
that are
that you
always
least-
serving others.
because you look at the dancer with Ellen, Twitch,
Right.
and
Robin
people like that,
Williams.
Robin Williams, and people who you feel like they just got it all together,
Yeah.
or they just have this beautiful life or this beautiful family,
and they're always happy,
and they're always
Yeah.
happy, and they're dancing and whatever. And a lot of times that be a mask, y'all.
Mhm.
So we as human beings have to learn how to start looking at the signs and caring for one another and appreciate one another, and not taking it for granted that a person is there, with you right at that moment, because the next moment they can be gone.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
And I would even say, like, to the simplest, like, listen, have manners. Physically showing that I see you. That the other
Right.
person is there, holding the door open for a lady, for a dude. You know what I'm saying? I like your outfit. I like your shoes, man.
That's right.
Simple stuff. Hey, you're going to have a great day today.
Yeah,
It's random acts of kindness.
Acts of kindness.
Yeah, right.
It's just the
That's just
simplest little
gone.
A
thing.
smile.
A smile.
Man,
Hey.
I love your hat, man. That was some,
I mean,
I love the
that
shoes,
has no statistic or anything has showed how many people that has saved. We don't know how many people that has saved.
Right.
Yeah.
It probably saved the time.
And kindness costs you nothing.
It's
Nothing
free.
at all. Nothing
It's
at all.
free. It's free.
That's free.
And then you had some questions that you want to go through and ask us, so we can probably start picking some conversation. And y'all who are already on, we love y'all. Thank y'all for y'all constant support. And of course, y'all can chime in. We will try to get to the comments as they relate to the topic of conversation.
And I want to give a shout out to a couple of people. Christina Dawson's watching. Hello, how you doing?
Hey,
Shay Nicole,
My
Cedric
beautiful
Lee.
niece.
What's up, my niece, Jay? Cedric Lee is watching. Brian Evans was watching at a point. Hopefully he's still there. Mike Hop, that's my boy.
Hey,
Hop is
Mike.
on right now. And just to catch people up, we are talking about mental illness and mental health.
right.
And on both of those. So
And shout out again, my little cousin. I am Shay Nicole. And go follow and
I
subscribe.
am Shay Nicole.
For
the
one-
Pretty Spill
the
to
Pretty
also
Spill, yeah.
watch her
she
podcast.
has she has a
Pretty Spill.
podcast as
From one
well.
podcast to another, man. Y'all go subscribe.
Right. So again,
Question.
Yes, I mean we've been
Okay.
tackling. I've already asked.
Oh, you asked some already.
Several of those
Okay,
questions.
y'all see y'all.
If you feel like you have some challenges, the hardest thing I'm gonna have to do is tell you that you will have to open up to someone
At some point soon,
even
hopefully.
if it's a stranger, if it's a hotline,
Yeah, that's good.
that you can call.
That's good.
Someone will listen.
Yeah.
Don't think that no one is listening. People are listening and trying to find a way to help.
Yep. And just know too that your feelings are valid.
That's right.
That don't make you no less of who you are. And that you are important. You shouldn't feel down about how you feel, because your feelings are your feelings and that's your reality.
Right.
And we just are encouraging, everyone out there that's listening, even us ourselves, that when we are feeling in those moments of loneliness or, just constant negativity and we cannot come up out of it, there's always somebody out there willing to listen.
And that even goes for you, men. To understand that does not make you weak. That makes you a human. And you can't run from that. You are a human. You were born on earth. You came out of your mother. With your father's help. Like, you are human. We are going to feel down sometimes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because you are putting on a front if you keep telling me everything is all right. Because I know everything not all right.
And I was reading, and I'm happy you said that, because I was reading some statistics on our community, specifically to our Black men. And it was like 17, and this was under the Center for Disease Control. And they were saying 17 million people each year are diagnosed with depression. And out of that number, we know that, there are Black men that's also diagnosed with that. And they were saying that, but the Black men are least likely to go and find, seek treatment for that. So, and when you're not seeking treatment, you got to understand that lead on to other health issues, such as diabetes and high blood pressure and substance abuse. And like we said, even suicide, it can lead up to that final moment. So it is very important that when you are feeling not like yourself, or if you can't shake a feeling that is, like Marlon was discussing earlier, that, you can't get through your daily activities because, or you having these real bad mood swings, you need to go and talk to somebody.
Agreed. Because sometimes you can't fix yourself. We all think that we can fix ourselves and this will go away, and if I just wait a little longer and things like this. And man, sometimes you can't fix yourself.
Right. It's just gonna go away.
And some things that is the root cause, you never figure it out. And there are things like we were talking about trauma. PTSD.
Yes.
ADHD, but PTSD is something that's
a traumatic experience.
It could be something in your childhood. It could be something that involved sexual abuse as a child. It could just be your parents were arguing too much and it was traumatizing to you as a youth. It could be something that you saw something happen to someone and it traumatized you and you suppressed it. But it's not. It rears its symptoms in you, even though you've suppressed it.
You're just not speaking about it. But
you're just not speaking
there.
about it. But it's absolutely still there. There are things that happen and things that you've seen. There's news that can put you in a situation.
Oh yeah.
If you're watching news and everything we know on the news is terrible. There's a riot or there's systematic racism. Sometimes the weight of feeling suppressed or oppressed. Could cause mental illness. It could cause, some things to happen to you.
And I want to back that up because that is so correct. I was listening to a doctor today, and that is one of the things within our community. We're saying like 20% of is diagnosed with some type of mental illness or mental health issues because of racism, social economic status, or environmental factors. And then second, out of that 20%, only half will seek treatment. So, and I'm just agreeing with you that when you're looking at these things and you're facing, what we have to face every day, that stuff can mess with your mental status, your mental health, because it's like you feel like you're fighting a losing battle.
Right. Every day, and it's things like not having a father in the house, not having a mother in the house,
Right.
or not having the things that you need. There are
Right.
parents that are struggling to buy food, put food on the table, make sure your children are dressed properly, pay lunch money. And these things are weighing heavily on you. You smile and tell your kids it's going to be okay. You're telling everybody it's going to be okay, but you're suppressing a lot of root causes that are troubling you, that could cause real damage.
And and you deal with them day to day. And then we, of course, y'all see my soon to be daughter-in-law.
10 days.
Yeah, y'all. They got 10 days before the big day, y'all.
Right.
And she will be Mariel Rice. But and I spoke on our community, but she also has some good points concerning their community as well, right?
Yeah, I was saying that. Well, I think that I was kind of more speaking towards like how white people would get more diagnosed and
Right.
still have like better treatment options. Whereas I've seen in the Black community that the resources are not given. It's just a pill or medication. Yeah.
Right. Right. And sometimes there are methods, which I was talking with Marielle about earlier. There are natural remedies. There are things you can do to try before you go to medication.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
And I know that a lot of people feel like if I go to the doctor and say I don't feel right, I can't sleep, which is another one. Insomnia, things like that are signs that you can't sleep. A lot of doctors, and I'm not saying all doctors, but a lot of doctors are working with these medical companies that will give, if you issue out my drug instead of the other drug, you'll get kickbacks. And a lot of people feel like doctors are quick to just medicate you.
Mm-hmm.
I think too that I've seen a lot of misdiagnosis because
Right.
there's not a lot of like in depth like looking into
That's scary.
specifically in Black communities and people of color. They don't dive deep into history in their in their mental health or physical health, because it could be both. And so those misdiagnoses cause a lot more trauma, and then also add on to whatever problem is truly the root cause.
Right. Because, but that shows you right there though, that, that's why a lot of our community is reluctant when it comes to seeking help.
Yeah,
because we feel like, when we go, it's not going to be the same type of treatment as when white people go.
Yeah.
And that's very sad. And even when you said about the insurance and things of that nature you spoke on, and then there's a lot of us are not educated on what's out there available for us.
Right.
And then and it get tiresome because we have to even fight for treatment. We have to fight for help, even in that sense. Yeah. So it's just like it's always a fight.
And a lot of people, major medical or their supplemental insurance has wellness benefits that include, like I didn't know that until recently, like you can go in Columbus, where we're from, you can go to the Bradley Center at least 3 times a year just to talk to someone. And it's in your insurance, it's included in your wellness benefit.
Mm-hmm.
And then that you can go. And we just not well versed on what we're able to do sometimes on that. But there are things out there wellness wise that will come at no cost to you. It's covered in your insurance.
Right. That's a good point. Because the place we used to work at, I know they had visits where we can go to the Bradley Center and talk to people. And then now, y'all, okay, if your employer put it in your insurance or give you free sessions, however many free per year, then if they care enough about your well-being, your mental state, and we know why they care, because they want the work to be done, then just imagine how important it is for you to be around for your family and your friends and your loved ones. They love you and they want you there.
Right.
Yes. There's always help. There's help everywhere. And I understand that.
And just to double back real quick on the Black community, not seeking help at the rate that some of the other races or cultures are doing. And I know there are root causes we talked about, our fear of going to hospitals after the Tuskegee syphilis thing, where they were experimenting on the black people and giving them syphilis. It was a huge thing. Of course, I know most people would know about that. A lot of, especially older black people, will say, "Look, I'm not going with this because they're gonna try some experimental drug on me and make me a guinea pig, and it can hurt me more than help me."
Right.
But we have to have some level of faith and confidence in some doctors, and I know we don't have the same amount of doctors that may look like you, that you may trust in that level, but we have to get and talk with someone.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if there are people around you telling you like, man, you having some major mood swings, bro. Or you sometimes you just come in and snap on everybody and you don't realize what you're doing, and some things that you know you can't sleep, you can't eat, you can't do these things. Sometimes advice from your bestie won't help you.
Right. Yeah. Right.
You know, you got to step it up a notch and go talk to someone when it's an adverse effect to the people around you.
Right. Correct. And then that's a bit telltale. And when people are telling you that you're acting a certain way, or you have mood swings, or you have these up and downs, I mean, take a serious listen to what they're saying, because it's no reason why a person would want to just make that up about you.
Right.
I mean, that they're on the receiving end of that. So they see you. People don't realize that, we all like to say, nobody don't know me better than me. Well, guess what? The people on the outside, they're the ones that's looking at you and they see you and they see how you're acting. So it's like, okay, well, they can see how you're acting.
Right.
And I want to say hello to my brother. What's up, Lorenzo Manuel?
What's up, Big Ren?
I just feel like, you know, what's up? How you doing? What's up? But yeah, I just too feel like a lot of actions are unconscious. You know, and I go through
you don't even know you're doing it.
Okay.
My parents, I mean, we go through it with each other. Like, we be having a regular conversation, like, why you yelling? Why you getting loud? What you mad for?
Right.
And then, I'm not mad. Like, I hear you, but you're not thinking about it because that's just how you've been operating for so long.
It don't operating at the moment.
Yeah, it's just you don't make it the normal. So then when people keep telling you that over and over and over, because they tell me that too. Oh, they still tell me that now. Why you mad? What's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. But then, like, after this, I'm definitely gonna go, you know, reevaluate myself. I'm like, am I really mad? Because that's a big step that we already talked about, is knowing that the problem is there.
But that's like you said, that's a big step, and that's one of the first steps.
That's right.
It's just being honest with yourself, admitting and being honest with yourself, and trying to figure out, okay, what's going on? This not right. Too many people telling me the same thing.
Right. And it's just like alcohol. This first step of going to AA meetings is admitting that you have a problem, that you may have a problem. Ursula said something. She said, stop saying we don't need to put a stranger in our business. We can handle it ourselves. That is the wrong answer.
Yeah, that is definitely the wrong answer.
That a stranger sometimes can give you that unbiased opinion.
They don't know you.
A lot of your friends are your cheerleaders and your yes men. And they'll agree with whatever you say because that's your friend. And, you know, I'm with you, girl. I'm with you, homeboy. Yeah, bro, I'm with you.
Hit that button.
And sometimes you don't need yes men can hurt you more than help you.
They can. They really can.
They can enable you and your behavior.
And going back to the first 10 minutes, watch them friends. Because them yes mans are the ones that will drain you.
Those are the dangerous ones.
Should I take this extra drink? Should I do this? Should I do that? Yes. Go ahead. It's your life. YOLO.
YOLO. You only live once. Go ahead. And then when you all down and out and you can't make it, or your family is having to help you out through this situation, then MIA. Where are those yes people?
MIA.
Yeah.
They ain't checking up on you then.
Also, can I make a suggestion to people who are trying to approach somebody that you see a behavior that is either like having outbursts or anything like that? My suggestion is right place, right time.
Yeah.
Because if you are doing it out of anger and they're, you know, everyone in the situation is angry or upset, like it's full blown emotion, like they're not going to receive it. And you're not going to say it like it needs to be said. And so then nothing is going to get done. And there's probably going to be a wall built up between either you or that person. And they're probably going to shut down and retract. So that was just
no, that's a good point. That's a great point.
Absolutely. And another point, I know we're bouncing here a little bit, but back to Black people and why we don't seek help. A lot of times Black people are so used to struggling.
They
and
made it a normal.
So used to, going through stuff.
Yeah.
Because our people have persevered and gone through so much that we've made it a habit of just, toughing it out and going through things, because it's become normal to us to not have money or to not have things or be oppressed or be, things like that we normalize these feelings as normal.
Right.
And they're not normal.
They're not.
Some of these feelings of oppression and weaknesses and tiredness and things like that is not just a part of the Black culture. Sometimes we got to get some help on these things.
Right. Absolutely. And we are not the only ones that go through that, because white cultures go through that, Asian cultures go through that, Indian cultures go through that. But we're the only ones that won't go and seek help.
Right.
Because, I would say this. A couple of years ago, my dad said something. I don't even think I ever told him or nobody. And it was, we were just having a regular conversation. And he was talking about his childhood and like how he used to like to fight his kids. Like, yeah, I'm a fighter. I can fight. I can do all this fight. But I don't ever want to have to fight again.
Ever.
And I don't know if I took that out of context, but I was kind of like, yeah. And I went in my room and I cried, because I'm like, dang, that wasn't even about fighting at that point, like physically fighting.
Right.
Because I was like, this ain't about just knowing how to fight. I can fight when it has to, when it comes down to it, I'm gonna handle mine, but I don't want to have to struggle.
Right.
You don't have to do these things.
Right.
That's right. My hope is I never have to use my training or whatever. I hope I never have to ever use it again. Right.
And that's big.
That is big, y'all. That's real big. That's kind of sentimental side.
For real. That stuck with me forever.
So let's see, where are we going? So we talked about meds versus natural. We did give that some.
Yes.
Just briefly, yeah.
Very briefly.
We can get into it.
Any more points we want to make on that?
Y'all take probiotics.
Well, and y'all chime in, the ones that are listening and watching. Some of the people that I personally know that have been like diagnosed like with an illness like bipolar or depression, antidepressant, things of that nature, they don't like to take the medication because they feel like it made them feel not themselves or in the fog or like a zombie. So they choose not to take the medicine because they don't like how the side effects of how it makes them feel. And then we was right before the show, we were talking about, I don't know if y'all seen the movie The Joker, like what made him the Joker. And and he was diagnosed with schizophrenia, bipolar disorder. He would
manic depression.
Anything that was related to mental illness, he had it. And he was doing fine as long as he was taking his medication, but he got lost in the system. Didn't get his medication,
and they changed his medication and no longer allowed him to get that medication.
So then he just spazzed out, y'all, and became full-blown Joker.
You have an incoming
and
call. Press 1.
We need to know we need to see the importance of staying on your medication, because like Marielle was saying earlier, it's a chemical imbalance. It's something that is not being balanced correctly through the hormones in the body, and that medicine is helping you do that balance. And maybe just even with that, just talk to your doctors and tell them what it's doing to you, and see if they can be different medications that are given out or things of that nature that can help you. But just don't not take the medicine.
I think too, though, it like also depends on dosing too. If you don't feel right, like there could be a dosing that needs to be changed, whether that needs to be upped or it needs to be down. I think too, like with medication, sometimes it's for people and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it does the opposite effect that it should do for you. And so I think too, finding a doctor who actually listens to you, which is really, really hard.
Yeah.
Honestly, or at least like I know that I've had to struggle with that. Finding a doctor that listens to you and that will truly like have your best care at interest. Just to really figure out what is the best option for you and what's the best treatment plan. Because I do think that, like, I know for me, like, for my anxiety, like, I take magnesium. I was on an anti-anxiety medicine, but I didn't like it. I didn't like the way that it made me feel. Like, it made me very emotional and it made me very dizzy. And so I got off of it, and I now take magnesium, which is a good alternative. It has different side effects, but I
Right.
mean, like, you just have to
Right.
weigh out the options too. It's kind of like, just choosing, like I said, what's the best, option for you and what's the best plan for you. So,
Right.
Right. And Ursula was
And before I take this call, we do have a call on the line.
Mhm.
And before I take this call, I do want to say I do have a friend also that said that the medicine made him feel like he was in a fog.
mhm.
Like, instead of turning off his bad emotions, it turned off all of his emotions.
right.
Correct.
He couldn't get happy. He couldn't get sad.
Mhm.
Like, he was just stuck in the
Mhm.
middle. But the thing is, we have to remember, you always keep your doctor in the loop. Go back and say, this
Right.
one's
Talk.
too
Have a
strong.
conversation.
It's not working
Yeah.
right. This is what it makes me feel like. There are other medicines. There are other dosages.
Yes.
There are
Yes,
things that can
Ursula.
be done just to stop taking it all
Yeah.
together and
Yeah.
never go back to your doctor and say, I'm not going back
Yeah.
because the medicine make me feel messed up.
I
Right.
think too
It's not
is
the answer.
if also you feel like there's like secretly something that's like causing that feeling or like causing those emotions, or like, say you have anxiety. I know that like anxiety is increased if you have ADHD or PCOS. Like, I mean, there's a lot of like, if you have thyroid problems, and so if your thyroid is messed up or if your PCOS is acting up, like, you're gonna have different, emotions, or you're gonna
Yeah.
have different problems. And so I think too, like, if you don't feel like, you just have depression or anxiety just like alone, like, I feel like advocate for yourself in that and get tested for different things, like get your
Right.
blood tested, just to make sure that that's not, just it. Like, there
Right.
could be something deeper.
Something else. Yeah. And Ursula was saying, she made a good point, and we're going to get to the call. Ursula made a good point saying that we have to give the time, understand, and give the medicine time to work.
Right.
Correct.
And then,
Right.
and that's absolutely correct, because that can be an initial feeling, but once it's in your system, you can be acting a totally different way.
Yeah.
But then again, still talk and have that conversation with your doctor in an entire way.
Correct.
And we have one of our classmates, Adonis Harris. What's up?
What's up, D?
He said he gave a testimony. He said, sought a professional during times of trouble, definitely beneficial for me. Weird counselor stated 30 years of practicing. I was the third African-American man she had seen.
Wow.
That's
The
crazy.
third.
Wow.
And he said, the barbershop ain't the answer.
Oh,
Joking.
boy, say that.
He said, joking and serious.
And them barbershop talks,
It
dude.
is not the answer.
Hey,
That's not the
They
answer.
have got me through some times, and they have did nothing for me at the same time.
At the same time, like you
so,
said,
yeah.
joking and not joking.
Yeah, it's,
Man.
But we want to go on the call.
Adonis, that was a good point. And just for the record, Adonis might be able to run faster than me, but I was better than him at geometry. In Mr. Hancock class, I sat first chair longer than you did. I just want you to know that. Just for the record. All right, let's take a call and see. Caller, you're on the line. Are you there? Caller? Oh, we're having some technical differences with the call.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear
Yeah,
you.
we can hear you.
Caller.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Hello?
Oh, he can't hear us.
Uh-oh, you cannot hear us, huh? You might get your phone all the way on mute, but we can definitely hear
All right,
you,
what's going on,
caller.
fam? How y'all doing?
We
What's
good,
up?
man.
What's up?
Hey.
We good. Talk to us.
I hear you.
We hear you.
Go ahead and talk to us. What do you have for us tonight?
It seems like there's a delay.
Okay.
all right, let's go ahead and give Jesus Hancock a praise. Okay.
That's right. Y'all get you said clap praise.
Ain't he good? Ain't he good?
And Adonis said, share number 2 was your home geometry.
Lies. All right, caller, if you have a point to make or something you want to say, go ahead and say it now.
It's probably a
Hey, how's
weird.
it sound now?
We can hear you. It's just a delay. We're just trying to get you to go ahead and say your point.
All right, well, I'll just go ahead and say this. Yeah, as someone who has been diagnosed with anxiety and depression, I can attest to the medications making you feel foggy.
Mm.
I will also suggest people go to some type of counseling, mental health counseling, and get tools to help you cope with
Yeah.
your depression, anxiety, bipolarism, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
And back to the point that my brother Buzz had said about how we normalized it, because of the traumas that Black people have been through over the
Right.
centuries.
Right.
How do you deal with trauma?
Mm.
A lot of times we deal with it with humor. So we start making humor out of the trauma, and now it
Wow.
becomes a joke, whether it's poverty, mental health issues. Oh, they just need a check. We make jokes about it
Wow.
instead of actually dealing with the issues.
Right.
Wow.
That's a good point. And then when we're making jokes about it, then it's constantly on replay, but as a joke. So we take out the seriousness of it for our community.
And then it goes unresolved.
Yeah.
Because we're joking about it. Hopefully that'll
Dismissing
ease the
it.
pain. Let's laugh at it. But if it doesn't get rectified, doesn't get resolved, then it's still an ongoing issue.
It's still an ongoing issue, right?
That's a great point. Great point on that. So
Exactly.
the one good point was he may get counseling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can be anonymous, people. Everybody doesn't have to know your business. No one's going to feel less about anything. Nobody's going to, the stigma of going to a shrink, what they used to call it, or something like that. That is just BS. You go get the help where you need the help at.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need someone. To me, I feel like what's important about counseling is that you have an unbiased third party listening to what's going on. So they don't know you from Adam. So they're going to take what you say as face value. So there's
That's
no
right.
feelings, there's no emotions in what you're on their end, what you're telling them, so that they can be able to easily assess. And I'm not let me take out easily, or they'll be able to assess the issue, hopefully.
All right. And one of the biggest statements, that's the worst statement that a lot of us can make, is, man, they just looking for attention.
Oh yeah, that's been
that's one of the worst things you can say.
That's hurt our community. That one statement alone has ruined a lot of people.
There ain't nothing wrong with them. They just want somebody. They just want to make a wave or something. Just like us Black people in the Black community would say this phrase: "I never had no ADD, no ADHD. They just bad. They just need a butt whipping.
They need a butt whipping."
That is not the answer for everything.
But I will say this to the attention statement, though. They are looking for attention. You just giving them the wrong kind.
Right.
You ignoring the attention that they need.
Right. Because sometimes the attention is help.
Right. Like they crying out for help.
Right.
We're crying out for help.
Yeah. And I would say this, please excuse, I'm just going to say it.
Just say it.
For the actual attention seekers, the liars, the actual people out there that's trying to really get the attention that this ain't no joke. Because don't belittle this for the rest of the people. Don't make it seem like it's just so common and so this and that that everybody is looking for attention, because everybody's not looking for attention.
Right.
I feel like I have an unpopular opinion, but for the younger kids, I know that not a lot of people who are younger watch this, but there is such a trend to be emotional and be like everybody to have the same feelings and for everybody to have the same thing, that it is being over diagnosed in some cases, and then also like everyone just has it, so it's just everyone deals with it, so like kind of get over it thing. I know that I have struggled with that, like medication wise. Like there are a lot of times where I can't get my medication because it's literally being so over prescribed that like everyone has it. And so then there is a shortage of it for like 4 months where I can't get it when I actually need it. And there are people who don't. And so it's really hard.
Yeah. If you are lying,
that is good.
If you are lying about struggling, to fit in, you are a fool. You are a weirdo. That is just don't do that.
And
Please don't do
and
that.
it does happen.
Yeah.
There are people just want to be in the group.
Yeah.
But I don't know why you're gonna want to take medication to be in no group.
I mean, it's just inclusion.
I mean, attention. I mean, I understand it.
Right.
Attention,
So
like
y'all
you
have
said,
something
looking
in
for
common to
attention. That's
talk
that
about.
attention.
Yeah. But that is true though. This is, again, like I just said, this is not a joke. You know, this is not a joke. Like my mom said, I had a cousin just, you know, it's just not a joke, man. It's not a joke.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not like, I feel like it's a fun task to, like, younger kids nowadays. Like, it's fun to be emotional, and there's a difference between being emotionally down and like having a mental illness. Like, that's two different things.
They gonna grow up how our old folks tell us in the old grandmamas and grandfathers, just keep on living.
Keep on living.
Keep on living.
I was gonna say that's like there's such a big difference between the older generations and the younger generations, and then the people in the middle. It's like there's an older generation that is just more of like kind of deal with it kind of thing.
Right.
And like kind of get over it. Like, you're just being emotional or whatever. And then there's a younger generation who's trying to accept those emotions, but accepting them so much so that it's like everything is like an emotion, or everything is this, everything is that. So.
But that leads me to a book that at my old place of employment, they had us read in leadership, and it was called Emotional Intelligence. And we do have to be able to intelligently deal with our emotions for the things that happen that we cannot change no matter what. We don't need to put unnecessary emotions into that particular thing. But for the ones, or it's it may be a personality trait, or it may be just a skill trait, or it may be just a communication trait that you one person may be a what you call it, a dictator, and one person may be an influencer, and one person may be a compliance person, and you trying to say the same things, but y'all saying them different.
Right.
So it ain't, but we allow our emotions to get into those type of scenarios when you just got to understand who is this person, and how can I communicate with this person?
Right, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But I just never want to fit in, take some pills and say that I'm depressed. I can't get that. I can't get into that.
We got somebody, Miss Barb, Miss watching. Hey, Miss Barb.
Hey.
Say hey, your mom.
What?
I was gonna say she's been posting on the page the whole time.
Oh, you been reading her stuff? I can't see
it. It was
them.
on My Turn, My Truth instead of Mr. Marvel's page. So.
But what she said?
She's talking about a lot of like bipolar and schizophrenic people go through stages where they think they're okay and stop taking meds at the time. And so it's kind of like a roller coaster. Also affects the family, also causes trauma and things like that.
Yeah.
And then she was talking about go to a counselor. They're trained in how to correctly help people process emotions and things like that. And then she was also talking about like drug addictions and how like people will get hooked on drugs. And so for that very fact, they continue to get them.
Gotcha.
Wow. All good points, Barb.
And then too, counseling isn't a scam for Black folks. It isn't just, they just want my money. They don't care about me. They don't care about me. If I'm not feeling okay and good, I pay that $50 a month or however much I will.
Well, I'm gonna say this. You got to pay for everything else. Why you think the counselors go do their job for free? They're doing a job. They have to go to school. They have to get skilled on this. They have to understand the different psychiatric traits of a human and the sociology, makeup and build up of a human. And you think they're just gonna just do it for free? Sometimes, I mean, to me, just look at it like it's an investment in yourself, not necessarily paying the counselor. You paying to be better. Like you go and you pay the doctor. Everything in life is not for free. You only get one life, y'all. Let's take care. Let's take care of your life.
Is gonna be like once you are healthy mentally and physically, like that payment will not, like nothing will trump that. Like even if you do spend lots of money on it, like the amount of time that it will give you, or the amount of mental freedom or physical freedom that it will give you, will not compare to the money that you spend on it.
Right.
And Ursula,
or the people you save.
She put a good comment out there, Ursula. She has a testimony. She said, I will testify this, that I never believed that I would get depressed. But after losing my daughter and then turning around, losing my husband, I did have to get help. I'm trying to go to more. Okay. I did have to get help, but you also can let your counselor know that medication is not the way that you want to go. And the first step is to talk things out. So after going through counseling and then taking a complete month off from work to just cope with everything, that helped me.
Wow, that's good.
And that's good, Ursula. And we do our condolences, of course, go out to you, and that those are two traumatic experiences
very traumatic.
that we definitely can see how that would take a toll on your mental psyche. And but that's a good point that you're saying. You have to talk to your doctors and tell them what works best for you or how you want this to do. Don't just throw me on medication. Let's try it this way first. And I think that's a good point. And the reason I'm harping on it, I think that's the lack of thing that we do is talk out things with our doctors, even with our health and our physical, and of course with our mental, because that's what we're talking about. We have to talk things through and talk things out with our doctors, because that's the only way that they're going to know how to properly help us, because everybody is not cookie cutter. Everything that worked for one person, it may not work for the other person. So you have to just make sure that you are having those communications with your doctor so they know how to help you specifically. So that was a very good point. So thank you so much for that.
And it's another point I want to chime in and make. For the people that are trying to help, please understand that everybody is not like you.
Yes.
People handle things differently. People say, well, her mama just died. My mama died. And I wasn't doing all that. You know what I'm saying? People handle loss differently.
Yes.
People handle situations differently than you do.
Yeah.
Just because you didn't react the same way and you had a similar thing that happened to you, or divorce, or death in the family, or loss of a job, or something like that. Everybody is not you.
Right.
Everybody doesn't process things the way that you do. So stop being so quick to look at somebody and say, man, don't take all that. All that, get out of yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just get out of yourself and understand that people aren't like you. Everybody's not like you.
Right. And
people are not going to handle it like you.
And sports will definitely teach you that. Because my coach could look at me, rest in peace, Coach People. He could look at me and be like, you're trash. You sit out. You just don't deserve to be on the team. You're a waste of space. And I would take that as, I need to get right. I need to go out there and go harder. But if you say the same thing to somebody else, like my sister or somebody that's or her, or somebody that's kind of like,
I would go in a shell and never come out.
Do you mean what you're saying? Do you mean what you're saying? Some people can't read between the lines.
And let's go back to what we were saying, that everybody handle things differently. But and we as people, we handle things differently. So we just have to appreciate our differences and appreciate how we go through things and what is going to make us better. Because again, it's not a cookie cutter type of situation.
Right. And we're right at the hour here. I want to go back to my boy Mike Hop. He made a statement. He said that as men, we don't seek help because we're taught to be strong. Fight through it.
Yep.
He said, speaking about myself. And Hop, we were raised like that.
Yeah.
Us men, we're supposed to be the rock. We're the ones that help everybody else. We're the ones that come to when people need help. So we can't show weakness, because how could the weak help the weak? That's our men thing. We have to be strong at all times, and that's just not the case.
Right. And to piggyback off that, like, if we're gonna say that, then what is strength?
Yeah.
Like, what is your definition of strength?
That's good.
And sometimes
because help is strength.
That's right. Sometimes showing strength is saying, I need some help with this.
Right. Right.
That you can't do everything yourself.
Right. There is strength in numbers.
But then if we want to take it biblically, and I'm just going to go ahead, men, you guys are taught to be the strength, but even God knew you needed help. That's why he created Eve.
That's right.
So he said, I'm going to create you a helpmate. So ask for help. That's why he created it, because you couldn't do it all on your own.
And he also left us with the Holy Spirit, which is a comfort.
A comfort, right.
And if he never felt like we would need comfort, he wouldn't have sent the Holy
Correct.
Spirit. So
Absolutely.
even men, we need
absolutely
the comfort of that, you know, and we just got to be able to seek out the help, you know, and when we need it. And when you're off, you know, when you're off and you're not yourself,
right?
You could give it some time, but it's at a point where it hasn't self-corrected. You got to reach out to somebody.
As
I was going to say too, I'm not married yet, but I feel like I have seen a couple of things and learned a couple of things in life too. And recently even just had a situation like Mackenzie. He's not as emotionally expressive. And I can tell when he's like off. He thinks that I can't. And he may not even know that he's off, but I know. And so something that I feel like I can suggest to the women or the helpmate is like, even in those moments, like when they're shut down and like it makes us upset because like we want them to open up or whatever, like in those moments, like figure out what you can do to like even
help
like the small
way.
Things. Yeah. Right. I was gonna say like not necessarily asking him or bothering him or even just asking him to open up. Because I don't feel like that always helps anything. I think that just shuts them down sometimes.
Because my thing is what's understood don't gotta be explained. That's what I'm thinking in my head. So if you feel like you know, because I know when I'm off, I don't talk. I mean, my family knows when I just kind of stay off. But if you don't bring it up, don't ask me a question. It ain't getting talked about.
And that's me.
You can know how I feel all the time, but if it's not brought up in I agree. Healthy confrontation or like words, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna speak on it. I'm not speaking on it.
And I think that there's a time and a place too for that. You know, there's
my wife has to tell me I'm stressed.
Yeah,
like legit. Literally, this is not a joke. I don't even know sometimes when I'm stressed.
Yeah,
my wife has to say, "You all right? You feel like because you're a little extra chippy, a little snappy." You know, I'm like, really? And I have to look back at myself and say, am I stressed? Yeah. You know, and am I really stressed? Because I'm used to fighting through it.
Yeah.
I'm used to battling through it. I'm used to saying, I'm all right. Marla, how you doing? I'm all right. That's going to be my normal answer. Hey, bro, you good? I'm straight.
Yeah, that's what
I might be going through stuff, but I just feel like men go through stuff, you know what I'm saying?
But we have to be careful. We have to be careful with that because people are dropping dead younger and younger. Marlon just had a friend that just passed last week or the week before. And he your age?
Yeah.
In 40s, 50 years old, they ain't old.
And then you know when we have things that go pushed to the side or untreated or unnoticed or unspoken, that stuff y'all is taking us out. We have to care for ourselves, and we have to care for ourselves physically and mentally. We have to do both.
Because chronic stress will cause chronic damage to all the organs. So
yes,
definitely.
Mental health is a silent killer.
And I want to double down on something that
that's good.
Barb said.
I was trying to get ready.
She said there are places out there that can help those without insurance or money.
Yeah.
That's good to know that there are places, there are hotlines, there are places you can just look up, I need help, stress, suicide lines. There are places that, and they'll instruct you to places that you don't even have to have insurance.
Right.
Or money to get the help that you need. So, and so there's wisdom in these counselors. They are counselors for a reason.
God put them in their respective place.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So, and guys, we want to thank you. I know there's other points that can be made, but it's that time. At the show we'll have to reconvene about this. But
and I want to thank y'all because I know that this was kind of a heavy conversation, but it was a much needed conversation.
Right.
And if anybody is out there that knows someone or personally is going through something, just talk to somebody. It was a lot of good nuggets, got a lot of good testimonies and a lot of good points throughout tonight's conversation. So we love you guys, and we just want to make sure that everybody is doing well
Right.
Right.
And another way to stay healthy is drink water.
He gonna always promote drink
Drink
water. And he drink the least water, y'all.
Callaway Blue, drink water.
But he will drink that Callaway. He'll drink that Callaway.
That's the only one.
Well, that'll do it for this show. And if you're out there and you can drop a link to a hotline, a number, a website or something, when we start the next show, or we'll piggyback this underneath the post, we'll post those links and those numbers that people can watch it and also look at the comments and get the links and the help that they need. So
absolutely.
If you know one or know of one or know someone who could call and give some professional advice or wisdom on that, we'd love to have you or them on the show.
Right.
And everything like that.
And if you don't know, I mean, you can personal message me. I'm pretty young, but I feel like I'm a good listener. So
that's good.
You can hit me, man. If it come down to it, man, my Facebook right there. I've been commenting too. So
and I'm sorry I interrupted. I'm so rude. I'm sorry, but I just saw my sister. I seen her watching earlier, but I just wanted to shout out my sister Tracy. Love you,
T-Mo. That's my sister, my big sister. I love her so much. That girl took care of me, and she still do.
And Ron,
that's my sweetheart. Our
friend Ron, who is faithful with giving good nuggets and conversation with us. We finna get ready to end it now, though.
There's always next Monday.
But it's next Monday, Ron. So we're looking for you. We start on time tonight.
All right. Well, this is the latest episode of My Turn, My Truth. When it's your turn, you do what?
Tell your truth.
That'll do it. We will talk to you
next Monday.
Next Monday at 8:30 sharp.
Ooh, I've been talking. Callaway Blues, everybody.
And you can still see the links following at the bottom of the page on the banner. Please see us on Facebook at My Turn, My Truth Podcast, on Instagram on My Turn, My Truth, and YouTube at My Turn, My Truth Podcast. See you soon.
Love y'all. Good night.